Oh man, don't look now. Don't look now. But they done let Jaron Boots Ennis in the door. Yeah, my boy got his very first world title, real one. Uh, and listen, the Jaron Boots era has begun. It was the inevitable. And I told y'all this was how it was gonna play out. I already told you them guys weren't gonna fight him, and more than likely he would get elevated, and that's exactly what happened. We gotta talk about it. What up, YouTube? Big TL Heavy Bat Boxing TV. Man, get your big goof ass in here and hit the bag. Hit that like button for your boy. That helps the channel. You know, I appreciate that love. Shout out my gang. D1 Merc 1ML21 Skinny JT Black Jesus. My guy Troy Jack. Keywine Rebel Life Modern King Letitia YK World. Tyree Celestine. Shout out to my guy Punch Drunk. Sean Dime. My Aussie family. Mark Wynn and New Church. You know, I see y'all. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Now, I told y'all, man, it was the inevitable. Boots Ennis at 47 becoming a world champion was the inevitable. I'm telling you. But I also told you, those guys would never fight him. More than likely, if he was to become world champion, he would be elevated. And that's exactly what happened. Now, I think it's some confusion for some of y'all, because I know you're saying to yourself, damn, man, you know, Bud just won the undisputed title. He just became the IBF champion just a few months ago, back in July, the end of July. That's facts. But you got to understand this. He inherited Boots Ennis as an overdue mandatory, right? Boots was next in line, and the IBF ain't like none of these sticks. The IBF not playing, right? So not long after winning that IBF title, Bud Crawford had some time to figure out whether or not he was going to do it. Now, we all know he was contractually obligated for the rematch against Spence after Spence exercised that rematch clause. We get that, right? But this is what you got to understand. The IBF doesn't have to or doesn't honor rematch clauses, right? They was cool with, you know, those guys fighting for undisputed. They was all right with that. But upon that agreement, they notified these guys that, hey, you know, after this is done, you got to fight Boots, or, you know, we're going to take that scrap. So representation for Bud Crawford reached out to the IBF, explaining, hey, you know, we got a contractual agreement with Errol Spence for a rematch clause. You know, it's nothing we can really do about that. And the IBF basically saying, nigga, we don't care. Give me that scrap. So they took that, you know, and now they have elevated Jaron Boots Ennis to IBF champion. That's just the way that works. Now, I know, again, it doesn't feel like Bud Crawford literally hasn't been undisputed welterweight champion for, you know, 6 months. But yet and still he's script, right? And I think for the IBF, they understand the position that Jaron Boots has been in. They kind of sympathize with him a little bit, because nobody has been willing to make a fight with him. It's been I felt like the inevitable that he would become world champion, and he's just kind of been overlooked because he's not a big name, not a big draw. You know, most definitely if he you know, was a big draw, somebody would have been willing to fight him, but because he isn't, that's been the case. He's been ducked, he's been dodged, and on top of that, you know, he's a very dangerous 147 top guy, 147. So it's that high risk, low reward type of situation, rocking out with Jaron Boots Ennis. But fortunately for him, the IBF, they really don't care about those circumstances. They understand that he's the top guy for the IBF sanctioning body, and they're giving him his just due. That's the best way I can explain it, the best way to look at it. Jaron Boots Ennis is getting his just due. And for a fighter at 47 with over 30 fights and still hasn't had an opportunity to fight for a world title, you know, he is overdue. Let's keep it a buck. And I always make that talking point when talking about Boots Ennis, and you look at how early it was for a lot of these guys getting their first world title shot. Here you got a guy at Boots Ennis who showed you that he's very skilled, hasn't been tested yet, but hasn't had the opportunities to be tested yet, and definitely hasn't had any opportunities at a world title. Over 30 fights in. He's overdue. He's been overdue. Let's keep it a buck. So congratulations to him. But listen, in the same breath, we got to keep that same email champ energy.
He's an email champ. He's fighting because somebody mailed him the belt.
Jaron Boots and his fan. But I ain't letting that nigga walk around here. You can't walk around me like you that real champ. Even though you is that real champ. And I believe he's going to go on to continue to do great things and most definitely reign at 147. But we got to keep the same energy for everybody. Devin Haney, Tim Zoo, Jaron Ennis, you's an email champion. I think I'm going to do a whole different video on this whole email champion thing. But I want everybody to keep that same goddamn energy. You got to keep that same email champ energy. We're going to get into that in another video. All right. That's all I got for y'all on this one right now. For anybody who didn't understand what was going on, this is what the IBF is saying. Terence boy Crawford stripped. He's no longer the IBF champion. Jaron Boots and is elevated. He's the guy. The Boots era has begun. Oh, it's going to be interesting to see who wants some smoke at 47. Who wants a piece of that IBF title? Oh, that's gonna be interesting. Cause ain't nobody calling for that. Ain't nobody been calling for Jaron Boots in this, bro. So it's gonna be interesting to see now that he has a scrap, who's gonna be calling his name from 40 to 54, and of course 47. Who's gonna be willing to call Boots' name and make some fights? All right, that's all I got for y'all on this one, man. Big Teal, heavy bag. You know who I got with me, man. Talk to him, Roger.
Most motherfuckers don't know shit about boxing. Heavy Bag Boxing TV.
Y'all make sure you go sub to my man Heavy Bag Boxing, man.
Get your dumb ass in and hit this bag.
The Heavy Bag Boxing TV.
Y'all just go ahead and subscribe to Heavy Bag Boxing TV because he be lit on his channel.
And Heavy Bag Boxing.
Heavy Bag Boxing TV.
Yo, shout out to Heavy Bag Boxing TV.
Heavy Bag Boxing TV.
Heavy Bag Boxing TV.